Number 9. The Kei Islands Sightings. In the 1940s, during World War II, Japanese soldiers were stationed in a 555-square-mile area in the Kei Islands in Indonesia. This was an action-packed time, so the fact that soldiers recalled encounters with mermaids was a little far-fetched. Local villagers were actually quite familiar with these creatures, but they had a different name for them, calling them orang ikan, which translates to manfish. These creatures were described as having pink or salmon-colored skin, being around 4.9 feet tall, with spikes on their spine, shoulders, and neck. They were also said to have a mouth that resembled a carp. Instead of having a fishtail, like mermaids have, these creatures were said to have long arms and frog-like legs, both of which had sharp talons at the end. The Japanese soldiers recorded multiple different sightings, saying they even saw some on land, suggesting they were amphibious, but mostly they seemed at home in the water. In one instance, a troop of soldiers came upon a natural lagoon. They noticed some thrashing going on in the water, and when they went closer to investigate, an orang ikan jumped out of the water and onto a nearby rock. It looked at the soldiers and made a gurgling, burpling noise that didn't sound very friendly. Then they saw another creature moving slowly in the water, coming right at them. Not knowing the intention of the strange creatures, the soldiers started shooting. This must have frightened the creatures because they quickly disappeared from view. A sergeant named Mr. Taro spoke to the villagers and requested if any of the orang ikan were captured, dead or alive, to contact him immediately. It was soon after that the chief summoned the general, and to his astonishment saw with his own eyes the lifeless aquatic creature. After the war, Taro and the others went back to the islands to try and find proof of the orang ikan, but they were never able to get anything definitive. Number 8. Kailua-Kona. Heading now to Hawaii, the island paradise is known for all sorts of things. Beautiful beaches, amazing views, just an awesome tropical environment. I have to admit, if I were a mermaid, I'd probably want to hang out here too. And apparently, in 1998, mermaids did. It was during that time that a diver named Liker claimed to get photographic proof of a mermaid. This is quite a claim to make, to be honest, but he seemed to really believe it. Liker operated the jack-diving locker of Kauai. He was 20 minutes off the coast of Kauai during one of his ventures when he saw something truly odd. A woman was swimming naked, that's not the weird part, with some dolphins. Now, swimming with dolphins may not seem odd overall, but the thing that tipped Liker off was that these dolphins were swimming fast, and the woman was keeping up with them. Dolphins can swim over 20 miles per hour, and some say even up to 40 miles per hour. Even at the low end, that's faster than a human should be able to swim. He even saw her jump out of the water and into the air. Then he saw her fishtail. No wonder she was swimming so fast. Here's where things get really interesting, because there were other people on the boat with him, and they all saw the same thing, more or less. Then, later on, while they were diving, Liker says that the woman brushed up against him while he was swimming. He says, "I feel very lucky that I'm the one to finally prove to the world what people here have known for half a century," says Liker. "The Kauai Point mermaid is real." He posted the pictures online for all to see, but has since taken them down. So whether you believe it or not, this is up to you. Number 7. Dearness Mermaid. The land of Scotland is known for many things, not the least of which is the Loch Ness Monster. But they've also had plenty of mermaid sightings over the years as well, and one of the more curious tales is that of the Dearness mermaid. This started in 1890 when the area of Newark Bay became the location where multiple people reported seeing a strange aquatic magic-like creature. However, this mermaid was not exactly Ariel, your typical little mermaid. People described a 7-foot-long humanoid with black hair and pale skin. The locals described her crawling onto the rocks using her arms, not unlike a certain little mermaid, before sliding back into the mysterious fathoms below. The few sightings of her that people got were at a distance. The curious Dearness mermaid wasn't too eager to come very close to the shore. The Dearness mermaid only visited the bay for a few summers and then silently disappeared, never to be seen again. Was it really a mermaid? If so, where did she go? For the people of Newark Bay, the legend lives on. Number 6. The New Zealand mermaid finding. In 2014, New Zealand found itself swept up in mermaid legends too. A crew of fishermen claimed to have found the remains of a mermaid on the South Island. Not having mermaids in mind, the fishermen were concerned they had come across the body of a possible murder victim. However, upon closer inspection by local authorities, it was pretty clear that the skeleton was not entirely human. The body resembled that of a human-like creature with aquatic features. The discovery ran wild, with everyone in New Zealand learning about the aquatic humanoid found on the South Island. Since the authorities weren't really sure what to make of the find, the University of Auckland was brought in to explain what the fishermen could not. The discovery of a possible mermaid skeleton will surely cause excitement in the scientific community as researchers speculate about the possibility of finding a different humanoid species that may have adapted to water. Do you believe that mermaids or other mysterious mythical creatures dwell in our oceans? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button if you haven't already. Number 5. Columbus. Christopher Columbus, at one point in time, was hailed as a hero sailor that discovered America. But now we know better. We know that while he did technically discover islands, it wasn't America, and he certainly wasn't a nice guy, as he caused genocide, slavery, and a host of other things that his patrons in Spain didn't appreciate at all. But another thing that Christopher Columbus was famous for was seeing mermaids off the coast of Hispaniola. According to his journal, both he and his crew were able to see not one, not two, but 3 mermaids, which you'd think would make him pretty happy, as it's another discovery to add to his list. However, when he gazed closer at the mermaids, he found that they were not as lovely as legends depicted. Rather, they were kind of ugly and very mannish. Fast forward to today, and many people believe that what he actually saw were manatees. But there are some problems with this, including how someone as experienced as Columbus to the sea would mistake a sea creature for a woman. Especially since manatees don't have hair. People argue this by noting that manatees are known to get seaweed stuck on them, though. Plus, the rest of his crew saw them as well. Could they really all be mistaken? Number 4. Hebridean mermaid. Back to Scotland. Scotland has a lot of legends of mermaids. In 1830, a mermaid was allegedly seen and subsequently killed by the people of Benbecula. A woman cutting seaweed near the shore one day claimed to have seen a miniature woman swimming in the water. Shocked by her discovery, and not sure if her eyes were playing tricks on her, she called other people over so that they could see her too. As men tried to approach her, she quickly swam out of their reach. Some stupid boys in the group even threw rocks at her. One actually hit her in the back. Just a few days later, the corpse of the mermaid supposedly washed up on the shore. Similar to other claims of mermaids, this one was very small, with pale, white skin and had the tail of a fish. Hold up. If you did see an actual mermaid, why would you want to hurt such a magical creature? Ugh. Anyways, after the mermaid body had been found, the sheriff of the town thought it was only fitting that the mermaid have a proper burial. Oh, I like this guy. A coffin was made and the body was wrapped in a shroud. She was buried above the shoreline, close to where she had been found. Although the tale of the mermaid's grave has withstood the test of time, no one is sure exactly where her grave is today, or if any of this is even true. What do you think? Number 3. The Active Pass Mermaid. British Columbia, 1967. Off the shore of a place called Main Island, people on a ferry swore up and down that there was a blonde mermaid sitting on the beach shore. What's more, she was topless and, apparently, had no problem eating salmon, raw. The next week, the mermaid was seen again. A picture was even taken during one of the encounters. Thrilled by the prospect, the local townspeople tried to find the mermaid and even offered to put her up in a hotel should she be discovered. A $25,000 reward was offered to the person that brought her in. She was never seen again after this, and as such, many people think it was just a hoax to get tourists to the area. Number 2. Bering Sea mermaids? In 1608, Henry Hudson was exploring the cold, northern waters off Norway. In his journal, he describes a day when he had a bizarre encounter. He came across a group of mermaids. The first mermaid, Hudson claimed, saw his crew and then dove down, and when she resurfaced, she brought even more mermaids with her. In his writings, he described the women as being about the size as the men of his crew, with long, dark hair and pale white skin. He also noted that they had a tail like a dolphin, but with the spotting of a mackerel. Hudson was truly enamored with his discovery, but there is still a huge debate as to what he actually saw. Many wonder if, like Columbus, he had seen manatees, except in the Bering Sea of Norway, there are no manatees. Furthermore, Hudson was a very experienced sailor, so he would have been able to determine if they were animals or not. Not to mention he describes the women as having white skin, and manatees have gray skin. So what did he actually see? We're not likely going to get an answer to that. Number 1. Kiryat Yam's mermaids. In the Israeli town of Kiryat Yam, locals and tourists have been flocking to the coast in hopes of getting a glimpse of a creature that most people believe only exists in fairy tales. In 2009, people in the town were claiming to see something that was part woman and part fish. The first local to have seen the mermaid claims that she was sunbathing, and as he and his friends approached her, she quickly disappeared into the waves. They were all shocked to see that when she leaped back into the water, she had the tail of a fish. As more stories came to light, it was apparent to some of these people that she wasn't just a mermaid, she was a very social one. Ariel? The alleged mermaid only appears at sunset, and she'd perform various tricks and acts for people near the beach before disappearing into the night. Naturally enthralled by this turn of events, the people started spreading more and more stories about the mermaid. The town council even offered a literal $1 million reward to anyone that could get a picture of the mermaid to prove that she was real. Hundreds of people swarmed the beaches in order to try and get their $1 million shot. As you can guess, it didn't work out for them. And while the mermaid has been seen since, it was not in a way that made anyone richer, and thus the hunt continues. Thanks for watching. What do you think of these mermaid sightings? Do you believe in any of them? Have you ever seen a mermaid? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye!